Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for logging on. We're going to get started in a minute here.
Uh, I'm in the chat. Welcome to everybody that's in the space. Oh, wow, the room's filling up fast and the comment section is filling up fast. What's good, people? By the way, I lost my voice screaming at ice in 15 degree below zero weather. So apologies in advance. But I'm not going to be kicking off the proceedings, so I'm going to go off camera for a minute. But I did want to say what's up to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Brother Butch, for getting things kicked off. But I'll definitely get things rolling. It looks like we got quite a crowd rolling in. We already almost at 70 people. Hello, comrades. Hello, my California comrades, and folks who might be out of state too. We happy to see you up in here as well. But we're definitely gonna get things going. Butch, I appreciate you, brother, for going out there to Minnesota, being there on the front lines, at this heightened moment, specifically talking about ICE. And I think it's a issue, as you know, is very near and dear to residents here in California, because we had ICE come out, full throttle a couple of months ago, early on in Donald Trump's, second term. And they wreaked havoc in LA and then they left, and they've gone from city to city, whether that be DC, Memphis, now they're in Minneapolis. And we're just a week away from reports saying that, ICE is going to be coming here full throttle, trying to make a spectacle out of the Super Bowl. Um, I also think, it happening during Black History Month at the beginning of Black History Month is no coincidence as well. And so I think for a lot of folks right now, the question is, like, what can I do? What is the next move? How do we respond? What can I do as an individual? And I want to remind people what I always tell folks is that we do not all have to be Malcolm X. We are not all Fannie Lou Hamer. We are not all Claudette Colvin. We all need to remember that everybody in that movement, the names, the faces that we're all super familiar with, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of people doing all the little things and keeping the movement going and chugging along. Okay. And I think, with this conversation that we're having today and a lot of other great things that the Butch Ware campaign has lined up, it'll be very easy and doable for folks to figure out, where is that space that I fit in the movement? What can I do? How can I utilize my skills? And you do have skills that can be utilized. Don't get it twisted. Um, but here at Cali, this is going to be the tip of the spear. This is going to be another proving ground, and we've seen proving ground after proving ground. We've been warned about this. I could easily say it's been 3 years of seeing what's been happening to our brothers and sisters in Palestine over the past couple of years, but that's a over 75 year, really over 120-year issue, what Israel has been doing to the Palestinian people. We want to stand up for our brothers and sisters in Iran and Congo and Sudan, all over the country, and right back here in the States where we're having these issues where we're seeing that imperial boomerang bounce back. So I don't want to take up too much more time. I do want to introduce our host, Valielsa. She's going to be moderating our event today. She's the press secretary for Butch Ware's gubernatorial campaign. She's based out here in the Bay Area in San Francisco and is the county council of the San Francisco Green Party. She runs a Substack newsletter you should definitely go subscribe to and check out. I know I will be right after this. It's called Leftist in Progress, and it provides political, cultural, and media analysis from a leftist perspective. And we need more of that because I know all of us leftists are tired of being lumped in with the liberals. You know what I mean? So definitely go and check that out. But Valiosa, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to you.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Lou. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's panel. I am very excited to introduce the participants in today's conversation. First, I'm going to be introducing Dr. Rudolph Butch Ware. He is a professor at UC Santa Barbara whose research focuses include West Africa, Islamic knowledge of spirituality, and the African diaspora. He is a longtime organizer in coalition with minoritized peoples, working class communities, and student communities. He was a vice presidential candidate for the Green Party alongside Jill Stein in the 2024 presidential campaign. Currently, he is running for governor of California in tandem with the Left Unity slate of multiple Green and Peace and Freedom candidates. And then, of course, I am so excited to introduce our special guest, our featured guest for today's conversation, the Honorable Nina Turner. She is a former elected official, an experienced organizer, a progressive thought leader, and a fierce critic of the Democratic establishment. She was a Cleveland City Council member and a member of the Ohio State Senate. She was a Democratic nominee for Ohio Secretary of State in 2014. She has run for Congress in Ohio's 11th Congressional District twice. She was the national co-chair for the 2020 Bernie Sanders presidential campaign. And in October 2023, she launched We Are Somebody, a political organization for workers, which spearheaded a successful and, from what I understand, ongoing boycott of Target in response to their abandonment of DEI. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Valiosa.
Okay, so I want to open up today's conversation with a couple questions. So I'm really, really interested to hear from both of you. First off, how do you see this political moment that we are in right now?
I'm going to cede the floor to you, Senator Turner, to get us kicked off.
Well, thanks, Doc. I appreciate that. Troubling. People's souls should ache. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, and not just what we're seeing unfolding in real time in Minneapolis. And Doc, I was not aware that you were grew up in right,
Yep, South
South side,
Minneapolis. Yep.
so to speak, of Minneapolis. But for many generations, even from Gen X and younger, and maybe some a little slightly older than Gen X, to see these things unfold in real time, they've never seen them before. And what you and I teach in classrooms about history, it was back then, but back then is right now. And it is a shame that bloodshed had to happen for people's eyes to open. Yeah, I'm troubled, my heart aches, but I'm also more determined. There's promise in the problem. And if sleeping giants are waking up, that is indeed a beautiful thing, but we must act, and we must act collectively. Minneapolis is just an example of the types of horrors that people are facing in this country, whether it's at the hands of ICE or at the hands of a system that has made poverty a crime, at the hands of a system where anti-Blackness continues to be the order of the day. I need my sisters and brothers and my family and friends and the frenemies, to quote Minister Malcolm X. He didn't call them frenemies, but he would often open up a speech and say, I know some enemies there in the room, to the frenemies as well, that this tug of war, Doc, I'm just amazed at how people are clutching pearls and like, oh my God, I never knew that this is not American. No, this is American. And they want to put this on Nazi Germany. No, baby. This ain't Nazi Germany. This is Confederacy. This is good old United States of America. Where you think the Nazis learned how to do what they did? They learned it from the United States of America. So for those of us who believe in liberation and freedom for all and opportunities for all, that doesn't mean we got to rock to the beat of the same drum all the time. But there's some basic things that we cannot have daylight. We got to be lock solid with the notion of humanity. And in the United States of America, the tug of war, and I want people to picture a rope, and you're on one side, Black liberation is on one side, and ruling class white supremacy is on the other. Black people by force, we'll never know how it would have been if, by force, have always had to pull on the side of our own liberation. That doesn't mean that every Black person was doing the right thing or was in lockstep or didn't sell out. But I'm just generally speaking, we always pull in the direction of Black liberation for our very survival. And then you got other folks who come here or were born here or think because of relative status that they are on the side of the white ruling class. And so oftentimes Black people are over there pulling for liberation all by ourselves. And so folks have got to make a decision. What side of the rope are you pulling on? Because if you pull on the side of Black liberation, then that means that every other group gets their liberation. But you can't say, I'm going to come to this country and I'm going to be a little better than them Black folks, and I'm going to pull over there on the white ruling class anti-Black side, right? You can't say I identify all kinds of different ways, but you're going to pull over there on the same side where the oppressor is. That is it. And people, Doc, might not want to hear that, but that is the truth. That is America. And to say for what happened to the indigenous people, that's America summed up. And so I'm troubled, and it was so good to know that you were there and that my dear colleague, Congressman Rokana, was there, who's holding it down in ways that I know some people did not believe that they would see him do. Again, you don't have to agree with everything, but he is showing himself to be courageous in moments where we need exacting courage. We need exacting courage. But Doc, what really got to me on New Year's Eve, a brother by the name of Keith Porter
Keith Porter.
was
Say his
shot
name. Say his name.
and killed by an off-duty ICE agent.
Yep.
And I ain't see all of this. Now, don't get me wrong. When Sister Nicole, Renee Nicole Good was killed like that, shot in the head, we
Yeah.
should be outraged, and people should rise up. And then what they did to Brother Alex, people should be mad and they should be outraged. But that man had to be daggone near perfect to get people's attention. He had to be a nurse. He had to be white. He had to be he.
He had to have the gun taken off of him before, like
Before they popped him.
everything had to be perfect.
And all of that had to be on video because them folks got up there and lied on that man and called him a domestic terrorist and called Renee one too before their bodies were cold. So I'm glad to see people bubbling up all over this country, but I need folks to understand, Brother Keith didn't get that same love.
Oh, he did
It
not.
ain't too late. Say his name every time you say Sister Renee's name. Say his name every time you say Brother Alex's name. So I am troubled, I am disturbed, but I do believe that there's promise in the problem. And once people are awakened, we can no longer go back to sleep. And if people are not willing to pull in the direction of liberation, then you need to go somewhere and sit down. Stop making excuses. The system is rotten to the core. And just because it is that way now doesn't mean it has to be that way into the future. If everyday ordinary people put a little extra on their ordinary and are fighting with a conscious mind, there's nothing that we can't turn around in the United States of America.
Amen to that. And I'm gonna be brief, just in order to keep, to preserve my vocal cords. I got to do an endorsement interview with the California Working Families Party at 6. So I'm gonna be on a honey and lemon and hot tea regimen between now and then. But I'll pick up with where you left us. I heard a great revolutionary speaker once say, we need to make the crisis that we are experiencing a crisis for our oppressors. That we need to take this moment and turn it into a movement that puts the heat back onto them. And I am, despite all of the darknesses that you have outlined with clarity and precision, I am nonetheless hopeful in this moment in the same way. I believe, Malcolm's always over my shoulder in my office and in my heart. I believe that we're not outnumbered, we're just out organized. And I believe that our victory in this affair is inevitable. And when I read Malcolm's autobiography when I was 15 years old, like literally I converted to Islam before the week was out. And I was, a dyed-in-the-wool Black radical just from reading that book. That set me on my intellectual and political trajectory. And what I gained the most from Malcolm was this sense that if you combat the system with a free mind and a free heart, then you can actually have victories that are impossible. Malcolm was embedded in all kinds of darkness, oppression, white supremacy, put its imprint on his family, murdered his father, drove his mother to madness, and yet he is still producing revolutionary mentalities 60 years after he left us. So I am hopeful that in this moment, despite the fact that the darknesses are many, that we are going to rise to meet this moment. And I especially am buoyed by the fact that you are now seeing people, like you said, once they have awakened, they're not going to be quick to go back to sleep. This is a moment but we need to move into this moment and take the effective action that is going to allow us to transform this moment of crisis for us into a movement that produces a crisis for our oppressors. And that's what we're really here to do, is to start to build a kind of political power that we have not yet seen. So I'll leave it at that in the interest of time.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, thank you both so much for that. It's really important right now, I think, that we embody a sort of revolutionary optimism and that we continue to show people the way forward and that there is a way forward. It's not time to just lay down and roll over. So that leads into the next question pretty well, I think. The next question I have for you two is if there are any lessons you think that we could apply to the current political moment from the Black freedom struggle, where can we draw most from these historic organizers and activists that were able to accomplish so much with so little?
Well, Doc, you go ahead and take that
All
first.
right, I'll lead off on this one, and I'm gonna try to leave you something to pick up on too, because I want to hear you talk about Fannie Lou Hamer in response to this question. So I'm gonna try to work my way back to her. So I started with Malcolm. Let's go to Kwame Ture, right? Kwame Ture said that revolutionaries don't just mobilize around issues, revolutionaries organize against systems. For me, learning from the effective uh, direct action movements, the effective mutual aid movements, taking the lessons of the bus boycotts and of Panther organization and the way that they layered mutual aid with direct action, and yes, also with electoral politics. And I think that that's the part that I want to drill down on, because I think people have a lot of misconceptions about the relationship between revolutionary activity from the Black liberation tradition and electoral politics. In the Ballot of the Bullet in 1964, El Haj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, said that we are going to knock on every door in Harlem and we are going to register every Black face behind every door, not as a Democrat, not as a Republican, but independent. And then he said, and we are going to say, show us your card. He said, and whoever did not have the responsibility to register themselves, we might just run them out of town. It's going to be the ballot or the bullet. And what Malcolm was saying and calling us to in that moment, when he said in that same speech that the ballot is a weapon of war as effective as the bullet, or more so, he said. And I think that many of us that have rejected the notion of incremental reformist change, as we should, it's a bourgeois fiction, leave that alone, right? But many of us have imagined that revolutions can only unfold at the point of the gun. Now we know that self-defense is part of the Black tradition, whether it's Fannie Lou Hamer, the Panthers, Malcolm, all of the above. But we're not talking about that. That's baked into the cake. But I think that some people fetishize the means of revolution and don't understand the meaning of revolution, because revolution is just a turning of the wheel. It is when the thing is at the bottom, rotates up to the top. That's why you count the revolutions on the engine in your car. It's the number of times that it goes around. So a revolution can happen through a diverse set of means. And one of the means that we can bring revolutionary change is by bringing revolutionary politics into the electoral political sphere, a sphere from which they have been systematically denied. And I know that you, Senator Stern, we talked about this quite a bit. The way that you saw, see the example of Fannie Lou Hamer. So I'll leave things there to let you pick up.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dr. Ware. Absolutely. I mean, first of all, we got to have a revolution of the mind. Michael Jackson had I love many of his songs, but one was about looking at the man and, well, I dare say the woman or the person in the mirror. That change starts in the mind.
If I hadn't lost my voice, I'd have sang that right there.
I wish, okay,
I
next
really
time.
would have. But go ahead,
next time. And so sometimes in the United States of America, we particularly treat systems like they are immutable. These systems are not immutable. Somebody and a group of somebodies created the very systems that we are living under, surviving under, trying not to lose our righteous mind under. And so that means we can recreate or totally create anew where necessary these systems. They're not immutable. And so, when Valencia asked our foreparents, and some of them are still walking the face of the earth, we acting like this stuff happened 2,000 years ago. It did not. Those of us who are historians understand that this country is 250 years old this year. It's a blip on the screen. Yep. When it comes to humanity, it's a baby. And so why is it that we are comporting ourselves as the hegemon nation, a hegemon nation that was built on the backs and the bloods and the body and the spirits of Black people? You can say amen or say ouch. The United States of America would not be a hegemonic nation but for the enslavement of Black people. And that's how it got all of this. And up to 400 years, if you include the 244 years, the 100 years under all other kind of manner of evil. Systems must be changed, and ain't much changed. I mean, and when I say that, Doc, people think yeah, you can put on a suit, you can go into a bank, you can own some things, but I'm talking about systemically and
Yeah.
generationally. That's the kind of change we're talking about, like this deep-seated change. And so what I love about our foreparents, again, many of them who still walked on the face of this earth, who gave so much and didn't have half, you know what, I take that back. They had much more than what we have because they understood the assignment. And I think today, because we can sit in the front of the bus and we can go to Saks and we can wear up designers stuff and all of that, we think we free.
Malcolm said a well-dressed and well-fed slave is still a slave.
That's it. And you know what? Our ancestors didn't have a choice. We have a choice. So we certainly have more technology at our disposal. That technology right now brings all of us together from all over the world. But what we don't have is a cohesive understanding of the crisis.
Mm.
And we don't huddle, Doc. Teams huddle. What do you mean you on my team? We don't huddle. Team can't win a game or a championship unless they huddling. Who's the quarterback? Who's the kicker?
You can't have 11 people running different plays and expect to win the game. That's not how it
And
works.
call yourself a team.
Mm-mm.
But they knew, and what we don't quite understand, it doesn't register because we got some material things, is that the same crisis is upon us. It is just taking on a different form. And the assignment of liberation is still very much the same. So when you talk about Fannie Lou Hamer, the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, because I always mix up those things, and I'm using it as an example. Here you have the sharecropper that President Lyndon Baines Johnson was so afraid of that he made up a fake press conference to keep her from shining. And what she went to the Democratic Party to say is that y'all ain't those treating Black folks right. Y'all ain't doing right by poor people. And she formed a party with poor whites and poor Blacks to upset the system, and then went on their turf and told the story.
Yep.
That we can't even get folks who are in the Congress who look like you and look like me to stand up and not equivocate for Black people. Because once Black people are taken care of, and history shows this is not just Senator Turner talking, follow the history, everybody else is taken care of too. And so we have to have a type of coalition politics like the amazing Fannie Lou Hamer created in her time. And not only did they do that, they owned property, they had farming and gardening. I mean, they were building something
Thriving communities. Yep. Thriving communities.
Magnificent.
Yep.
And pulling anybody else, whether they were Black or not, who wanted to be a part of it. So we cannot be afraid to challenge systems. Yes, we must pay homage to those who are in the ancestral plane. We must pay homage to our elders who are still walking the face of the earth right now. But as great as they are and they were, what also matters is what we're going to do, because they did their part.
Yep.
What are we going to do? We cannot abide by one of the greatest novelists of the 20th century, James Baldwin, one of my favorites, and baby, there are many. He once said that not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed
until it is faced. Come on.
I mean, if you're gonna choose that, you and I went back and forth on Instagram one time.
No, I mean, listen.
You're gonna choose the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. No, I saw Valley about to jump in, so I'm gonna let her do it because I know that's where we're going next. So, but you spit a whole bar right there, so I'm just gonna let it sit. You can drop the mic on that one. I'll wait till it cool off before I pick it back up.
Yeah, thank you both so much for those answers, and I think it really shows how important it is to understand the history of this country, and especially the history of Black revolutionary movements in this country and what they've contributed politically, and how limited the average political imagination of people are these days, right? They're like, oh, we can't do this, we can't change that, we can't end the genocide in Gaza. I always bring up the example, I'm like, can you imagine if Black people during the civil rights era just sat around, they're like, we we can't change Jim Crow. We can't do nothing about it. And you think they really just sat around and accepted their fate? We have to actively be challenging the systems, actively breaking down these systems. So
That's
thank you so
right.
much for those answers. So to kind of top off our discussion, unless we have the energy to keep going, I want to ask both of you, since we kind of talked about the present, we looked at the past, let's look at the future. In your eyes, what is the path forward?
I'll go first with your permission, Senator. Just
Yeah.
again, and I'll try to be brief to save my voice. I think that the path forward is laid out by following in the footsteps of those righteous ancestors, and some of whom are still amongst us. We mentioned Fannie Lou Hamer, we mentioned Malcolm, James Baldwin. We can talk about Fred Hampton and the kind of coalition building that Fred Hampton did. And what we have to do, in my humble opinion, is so Malcolm said, he said, of all of our fields of study, history is best qualified to reward our research. But Malcolm didn't apply history in a copy paste kind of way. He studied it deeply and carefully, and then took the action in his moment that would produce the revolutionary result. You learn from the history, but you also understand that the moment that you are facing is unprecedented. And therefore, it will require new coalitions. It will be require being anchored in those sacred traditions of freedom struggle, and then having the audacity to dream even bigger, to see yourself as the fulfillment of the prayers of our indigenous and enslaved ancestors, as the fulfillment of the mission of a Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. And that doesn't mean walking every step exactly the way that they did, but it means moving in the world with that same kind of revolutionary love and audacity and hope and resolve, and stepping up to the plate to fight. So for me, the reason why I chose this particular path of running for governor in the state of California is because I see a weakness in the enemy's armor in this state, in this moment. That we can, with a victory in California right now, 6226, June 2nd of 2026, we can deal a blow to that white supremacist power structure, that imperialist power structure, that corporate capitalist power structure that has been on all our necks, and increasingly on all our necks. Because if we are able to seize power from them in this pivotal moment, then that actually breaks both of those corporate genocidal parties. It breaks both Team Blue and Team Red, and it establishes a new political priority, and the country has never been more ready for it. I just saw the new numbers. 47% of American voters now identify themselves as independents. And it's down to 25% that identify themselves with either party, despite the fact that they own all of the mainstream media, despite the fact that the Zionists purchase all of the social media, despite the fact that they are controlling the two big political parties with all of these mountains of money from their corporate donors. People are seeing through the madness, and they are waiting for somebody to step up and punch Pharaoh dead in his mouth. So that is the path to the future, is that we are going to, rooted in those traditions, we are going to build something that never existed before. We're going to bring together people that have never been before, practicing, believing Muslims that are rooted in tradition, standing 10 toes down next to LGBTQ community and trans communities, standing 10 toes down with indigenous communities and working class white folks and everybody who loves freedom. Because it is collective liberation, or it ain't no liberation at all.
That's it. Everybody means everybody, right? Everybody means everybody. And that coalition type politics, green means go. We talked about that, Doc.
Yes,
Green
we
means
did.
go. Baby, green means go on pro peace, no war. Green means go on universal health care. Don't run for governor and say one thing to the nurses and then lie to the nurses to get their endorsement. And then once you become governor, act like you don't know what universal health care is. Can somebody say amen? Let's say
Amen.
I'm Sister Turner saying this because I
You
was
can
in
get
the
you can
room.
get this from the congregation. Look, I'll be the Muslim in the first pew talking about amen, sister. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was in the room. I was in the room. California was my #1 donor state. So let me just, in these closing remarks, take a moment to uplift California. Baby, when I ran for Congress in 21 in a special election, California came through for Sister Turner. Yes, y'all did. My #1 donor state. In second place was a battle between my home state of Ohio and New York. My top 3 states, California, Ohio, New York, or California, New York, and Ohio. But California was always, always #1. I love y'all. I did so much work in that state. And thank you. I got people in there saying we donated. We donated. So many people in that state, Doc, because I traveled, with Senator Sanders in 2016 as a national surrogate, and then his national co-chair, along with Congressman Ro Khanna and Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Matter of fact, I got to say this, y'all free Ben and Jerry's. Now I need y'all to go over there and help Ben Cohen, who's trying to get his company back from Magnum. Yep. I need y'all to go over there and follow Ben Cohen, both on any of the social medias, if you're still rocking on there, because I know it's deadly. Free Ben and Jerry's. They are trying to get their company back from this corporation that don't want them to have a social consciousness. Yep. Ben and Jerry's ice cream has always had a social consciousness. So I need you to free. I know I digress. And let me not leave out Mayor Yuleen Cruz, former mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico. We rock that thing. But California, I traveled all over that great state. You all have shown me nothing but love. And I'm loving you back. We need a coalition politics that says that this is bigger than whether you identify as a Democrat, a Republican, a Green Party, a Libertarian, a little country, a little rock and roll, got a little rap in there, a little gospel. I don't care how you identify. If you identify as a human being that believes in liberation, then you are our people. And that is the only way we're going to be able to break up the duopoly that does not care. The duopoly, repeat after me, the duopoly does not care. Now,
they don't care.
Individuals within the duopoly who got a little religion, but systemically, the duopoly does not care. So if you're going to vote for the lesser of the 2 evils, you have got to not delude yourself that the lesser of 2 evils is still evil. But in the great state of California right now, you don't have to choose between the lesser of the 2 evils, because you have a champion in Dr. Butch Ware, whose platform is a humanitarian platform for all people from all walks of life. California, you can shake this thing up. You can make them pick their mouth up off the floor by supporting Dr. Butch Ware as he is fighting for everybody's family, all of y'all, to become the next governor of the great state of California. And I am happy to announce here, you heard it here, that he has my full endorsement to become the next governor of the great state of California. And California, I'll be back there really soon. I can't wait to get back to California.
Hey, I got goosebumps, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Power to the people.
Fred
and I'm just gonna say one thing. The campaign manager, side of my head said we're gonna need that donor list from California. But from when you ran your campaign,
I always try to get my list, Doctor. I gotta tell you now, I got a lot of candidates out there seeking.
No, I'm just messing with you.
On my list.
We are more than happy with the endorsement. And if you wasn't across a video screen, I hug you. So I'm giving you a big virtual hug. And I know that you had an out that we were short on time, but you came through, with that mic drop moment, right before the clock rang. So if we can just get in the chat. And on screen from all our panelists, a big round of applause for the Honorable Nina Turner before she bounces up off of the set. And thank you, my good sister. We about to show them something they ain't never seen before.
They ain't never seen it. Doc, I look forward to me and my hubby getting into California. I'm looking forward to getting back to California. But listen, time, talent, and treasure. Now, that's what Dr. Ware needs. So for all the people who are on here tonight, y'all better go tell it on the mountain, tell it everywhere, tell it in the ocean, tell it in the valley. Go and tell it, and whatever you can do to help his campaign, time, talent, and treasure. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I was on a campaign of a man that people did not think had a fighting chance. And the duopoly, the Democratic side of the duopoly, let's be clear, did everything that they could to stop this man who had a vision for the people. His name is Bernie Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders. So we know what the power will do when you have somebody that's willing to stand up. But let me tell you what we showed them. is that collective power. And we raise money $27 at a time. And actually, I'll raise them people to people. They ain't know nothing about small dollar donations until that popped off in 2016. I am telling you this story because Dr. Ware don't even need as much as that.
Nope.
All right. So whatever you have to give, and we know these are extraordinarily tough economic and financial times for people. We get it, but it's called sacrifice. Whatever you can give, if you can give time, talent, and treasure, you can give all three, give all three. If you only can give one, give one. If you can give two of the three, give two. But whatever you do, you cannot sit on the sidelines. You have got to have some skin in the game. And this is not just for California, for our sisters and brothers and family and friends joining us from other parts of this country. This is for you. Everything that we love is on the line. That's all.
Yep.
And so whether it's his race in California or some other races across the country where you have people who are not going to sell out to corporate interests, where you are their only interest, where grandmothers and grandfathers are their only interest, where children are their only interests. That is the type of coalition that we have had to build to beat back this tsunami of hatred and bigotry. That is not new to this country. Doc, we got to come and do a teach-in. Not new to this country. Minister Malcolm X described the difference between the South and the North, the difference between the fox and the wolf, the difference between the Democrat and Republican. Same thing. He did. They all want to eat you.
They all want to eat.
So donate. Did somebody in your team put the link up?
We got the link in, and you set it up because our MC Lou is about to go do the call right now. So you did the dang thing, sis. And you know what? Right. I filed that teaching idea. That's a bar. We're gonna do that. We're gonna get that on the schedule as soon as you're ready to travel. So we're looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it, and cannot wait to get back to the state. I'm sending so much love into all the people in the chat. I couldn't call out everybody's names, but I just thank so many of you who raised your hand and said, I was one of those. I was one of those. And just even for joining us tonight. West Coast loves Nina. I love y'all back. You know, Doc, they could have been anywhere tonight, but they could have been anywhere. They could have been anywhere. People who said they donated. They donated. Listen, go call 6 friends. What's the date, Doc?
6226.
6226.
Yep.
Y'all go on and call up 6 friends.
Yep.
Twice.
Yep. And get them to donate $26 each.
There it is. There it is, Doc. I'm going to be making my donation as well.
Appreciate you.
Sending so much love. Thank you, team. I cannot wait to meet you all in person. Take good care.
All right. Bless.
That was a pleasure. I'm so honored that we had the opportunity to be in conversation with the Honorable Nina Turner. And I want to hand it over to Lou to continue the amazing appeal that she already started for supporting the campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Valieza. Yeah, Nina had me ready to go. I almost threw my wallet at the screen just now. I still gotta wait for payday. You know? But yes, like just like she said, like the angle that we're coming from is we don't need the billion. We anything that you've got, whether it be $2, $5, 15, a hot and ready, cut out that Starbucks. Go ahead and donate it. What do we say? Call 2 friends, have them donate $26, make them do it 2 times. You know what I'm saying? But there's always a way to support, and if you can't do it today, do it next week. There's plenty of time leading up to this. And we actually have a very generous donor who donated $2,000 ahead of this. And so we're trying to match that with another $2,000. And if we can reach that $2,000 goal from this chat, then we'll get another $2,000 match from that very special donor. So please, y'all, some love. Please show some.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add on to that, we have all these monthly subscriptions like Netflix, Spotify, which honestly we should be boycotting since Spotify was, using their money to advertise ICE openings, right? We should boycott Spotify. For the cost of less than your Spotify subscription, which is normally like $12 a month, you can support a revolutionary movement. Our monthly recurring donors are some of the most important because that gives the campaign better knowledge of what our finances actually look like. So We don't expect you to drop a whole lot of money today, but if you can sign up for 10, 15, $20 a month, it makes a huge difference if you can support us through the end of this campaign, through the end of the primary and through the general election. So please donate if you can, donate what you can, spread the word. Thank you so much for coming out today.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hold their feet to the fire on this one. I need at least one person to get in this chat right now and put down a good odd number. Okay, Jennifer just put in for 100. We got to get to that number so that we can get those matches. And if you can afford to put in for a monthly donation, as Vali also mentioned, it's really, really critical. I'm gonna say a quick word about this. Um, We do not have corporate money. We do not have blood money. We don't have money from weapons manufacturers and genociders. We do not need money from them. All we need is each other. Everything that we need to be victorious, we already have. But we have been conditioned not to pool our resources for our own success and our own victory. We will throw money away on this consumer item or that consumer item. We will donate to our church and then they'll bomb our church. We will donate to our mosque and then they will burn down our mosque. But do we donate to political movements that are fighting to preserve our rights, that are fighting to preserve our rights to worship or to not worship, our freedom of conscience? Are we fighting? Because the way that I started this conversation, the reality of this affair is that whether you know it or not, we are in a state of war. Fred Hampton was referenced earlier. I think it might have been me that mentioned him. But Fred was fond of quoting Chairman Mao. And Chairman Mao said that that war is politics with bloodshed and politics is war without bloodshed. We are in a state of war, and that means we need a war chest. So I'm not getting off of this call until somebody else puts a big number into that chat and gives us at least one more thing to walk out of this room on, because you're not going to let Miss Nina down after she came through. And I'm going to say this now that she's off the call. Do you know how much heat people that have ever been associated with the Democrat Party take when they endorse green candidates? They get blacklisted for life. That is a life sentence of being blacklisted by the corporate wing of the Democrat Party. It's permanent. I can tell you a story. My best friend, Sean Young, his mom, Annie Young, was the first Green Party elected official in the state of Minnesota. She served for almost 30 years. And when she was endorsed by the DFL, by the Democrats in that state, every single Democrat that endorsed her was booted from the party. So the Honorable Senator Turner came and put herself out on a limb because she believes in this movement. So if you believe in this movement and you say that you believe in this movement, put your money where your mouth is, because I have a team that is so badly underpaid and they still do the job anyway because they're doing it for the love, but we need to scale up rapidly. And I think, Lou, you also have a big announcement about what we got coming up that should get the people ready to spend their money. What we got working for February. You want to talk about it?
Oh man, look, I'm so excited. As soon as Butch told me, y'all, I had to run and go tell my mom so she'd have something to be proud of me for this month because I ain't need all my vegetables and my Wheaties. But we got something great lined up, especially if you're either boycotting the Super Bowl, which I am, and I know a lot of other folks are. If your team didn't make it, another good reason to boycott the Super Bowl. But that weekend here in the Bay Area at the Ball Theater in San Leandro, we have an amazing event that's being planned and worked on right now. I think it's something I haven't seen any kind of political candidate do, at least in my lifetime. But we got a huge show lined up with some great artists, some comedians. Just to name a few, we got Roger Waters from Pink Floyd coming through. One of my new favorite comedians from the past couple of years, Sammy Obey. We have Lauren Uruguay from Fifth Harmony coming through to share some tunes. A band many of y'all may not know, but there's some young up and comers down here in San Jose called Sip Club. I'm very excited for them as well. We've got all kinds of other speakers coming. Uh,
Oh no, I think we might be
certain
losing a little
Butch is
bit.
I
gonna
think I
be
think we
there.
lost Lou for a minute. Yep.
Uh, Oh, there
Lou
we
froze
go.
on Sip Club.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me now? Oh, there we go. There we go. We
You know the man ain't gonna let us, do this without some kind
got
of interference.
a whole bunch of performers lined up. Uh,
Okay. Maybe
Go
maybe
ahead,
I'll
Abby.
I'll step in and tag team with Lou for a second. But yeah, like he was saying, we have an amazing lineup with Roger Waters, Samuel Bade, Saturday, February 7th at the Ball Theater San Leandro. If you're in the Bay Area, it is accessible via BART, which is great. You don't have to worry about parking. And yeah, it's going to be a really, really fantastic day. We're going to be releasing more information soon regarding ticketing and how to actually get in. But please help us fill up that theater. It is a wonderful Art Deco theater, really great vibe. And yeah, is there anything else you wanted to add about that event, Butch?
I'm really excited and humbled. Roger Waters contacted me out of the blue and said he wanted to put on a show as a benefit for the campaign. And as soon as I told Lauren Haregi, who only has 12 million followers on Instagram,
Only.
Lauren said, "I'm in." And we've got the amazing and incredibly talented and accomplished Angelica Ross. We've got Sammy Obeid. We've actually got a number of other surprise guests. Some of them I'm not allowed to say their names yet because we don't want their management to get mad at them, but they're going to pop up for sure. So do not miss this event. Mark the date. It's 2/7. It's going to be afternoon from 1 to 4, so that we're not competing with the evening Super Bowl festivities. And we really hope to see y'all there. Like Lou said, this is something that candidates don't do. This is an unprecedented event. And we're really looking forward to seeing y'all in the house. And the flyer should go out actually tonight. We've been just getting the last little details buttoned down. So yeah, thank you guys all for everything that you brought to this call, and we look forward to seeing as many of you as possible. Thanks for that donation, Enrique. We're looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible in person in the Bay on the 7th.
Fantastic. So I believe that wraps up the webinar for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out and for engaging in conversation with us. I think we're probably going to, yeah, call it a day for Butch. If you don't already know, he has a endorsement interview with Working Families Party at 6 p.m. So if you want to continue on this marathon of supporting the campaign, you can go to his Instagram page. I think Working Families Instagram is giving out the link to RSVP, so you can see him do that Working Families Party interview, which is really huge. Not only do we have Nina, we got the Working Families Party coming through, and they have a lot of influence in California. So yeah, check that out.
Great job, guys. Thanks for everything. Everybody, a round of applause virtually, everybody on the webinar for Lou and Valley. Amazing job. Thanks for keeping the room together. Beautiful energy that y'all brought. I knew that even though that y'all hadn't met, that this would be exactly the combo that would set this thing off. So outstanding work, y'all. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun, first weekend in February. Y'all take care.
Hell yeah.
Ashe, everybody.
Ashe,
All right.
ashe.
Bye.